Thank God it's Friday. Monday's a brand new start. Wednesday, you're halfway home, and Thursday, the weekend's not far. Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. What can you say about Tuesday? Nothing, not a damn thing. Tuesday bites, Tuesday sucks, Tuesday blows, go away. Tuesday's crap, Tuesday's lame, Tuesday's dumb, go away. Tuesday, Saturday and Sunday, you hang with your friends. But what can you say about Tuesday? Nothing.
Maybe not as sunny as it was yesterday. Boy, it was bright.
Sure was.
More sun in the forecast on Wednesday, but clouds in the forecast today, and then up near 50 on Friday. And then all of a sudden, we're getting more snow.
Roller coaster. Not as much as the East Coast, though.
Boy, I texted my friends, obviously, on the East Coast, all my people, and I texted my friend Jess. I said, how's the snow? And she sent me this. Wouldn't know. She's holding an alligator down in Florida. They're in Orlando.
Okay, got it.
And then I said, you're not in Mexico, are you? Because it's crazy there. And she said, no, they're in Mexico, and yeah, they're having a good time down there. My friend Brian said, so done with winter. Had to be at work at 6 a.m. I'm the only moron that showed up. I get to get up tomorrow and snowblow yet again. I said, how much are you supposed to get? He said, official reports say 9.5 inches so far, and that's in Derry, New Hampshire.
So last night I saw Providence, Rhode Island had 36 inches.
Yeah.
My nephew lives in New Jersey somewhere. I don't know, whatever, New Jersey. And anyway, he's lived there for 27 years. Oh. And he said this is the worst winter he's ever had.
Yeah.
In 30 years, he's never had this much snow out there.
I was born in 76, so I was alive for the blizzard of 78, and I've seen a lot of pictures, and my parents and my grandparents and my aunts and uncles all reference that and talk about it, and I've certainly seen evidence of it, but I didn't remember it as a human being. But they're comparing that. My buddy Brian also said pretty much where I am at this point, LOL, and it's a guy snowblowing his roof.
Yeah,
he's got his snowblower up there, and then Donut, who lives in Maine. I texted him yesterday as well, and
is he said, also done with winter?
Yeah, he said in Maine, he said it's not bad where he's at. He said cold and friggin' blowing around. Thankfully, not too much for the snowblower. I asked him how much they got. He said 5 inches here. My mother-in-law lives near the Cape, and she says they got a bleep ton. That is her measurements.
Yeah.
Said his parents in Nashua, where I grew up, got about 10 inches of snow.
Mm-hmm. The worst I saw was at Providence with 36 inches. But yeah, apparently they're over it. And yeah, it should end for them, though. I think it's trickling off, and maybe those canceled and delayed air travel that was impacted will start getting back to normal starting maybe today. Yeah. Maybe today.
Flights canceled. And
of course.
Can't go anywhere, can't do anything.
Blizzard conditions. What are you going to do?
Blizzard conditions on the East Coast. Not as bad on Friday, but boy, that snow was wet and heavy and hard to shovel, and I really did not enjoy myself doing that. My back was like, bro, what are we doing out here? Mm-hmm. Thankfully, done with that. It looks like we do have some more snow possible later this weekend. Lots to get to. Gene is obviously back. We will talk to Grant Bilse of the West Coast Sports Show just after 8 a.m., find out what he's up to, get his reaction to the Olympics that have come to an end. Talk to him a little bit about the Brewers and spring training. They've started playing games, but they haven't won any yet, which is not a good sign. And lots of other stuff, including, of course, bad news, happy music. And if you want to be a part of the program, please get in touch with us. Visit rockmornings.com for all of our contact info.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
2026 has already taken a whole bunch of celebrities from us, and we just had another one. Not quite sure if you saw this morning. I know you've been busy with all sorts of stuff going on in your life, but Louis Skolnick, a.k.a. Robert Carradine.
Oh, yes.
From Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah, this morning I woke up and saw that was trending.
Took his own life yesterday, 71 years old. most of us around my age, your age, would remember him from Revenge of the Nerds. He played Louis Skolnick in those 4 movies, and then also played Hilary Duff's dad on Lizzie McGuire. Apparently struggling with bipolar disorder for nearly 2 decades, and then took his own life yesterday at the age of 71. His family issuing a statement saying it is with profound sadness that we must share that our beloved father, grandfather, uncle, and brother, Robert Carradine, has passed away. We are bereft at the loss of this beautiful soul. Want to acknowledge Bobby's valiant struggle against his nearly 2-decade battle with bipolar disease. We hope his journey can shine a light and encourage addressing the stigma that attaches to mental illness. At this time, we ask for privacy to grieve this unfathomable loss with gratitude for your understanding and compassion.
Tragic.
Yeah, and speaking of people who have disorders and problems, did you hear about the BAFTA Awards?
No.
So the BAFTA Awards are the, British Oscars, apparently.
Okay, all right.
So it's a pretty prestigious award show. And there is a movie out called I Swear, and it deals with a guy who has Tourette syndrome and uncontrollable tics and yells things. Mm-hmm. Well, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage to present, and this guy dropped a hard N-bomb while they were on stage. He was the guy that the movie is based on, was in attendance, and he has obviously no control over this, but it was just the worst possible timing of all time. His name is John Davidson, and he has now spoken out after he shouted the N-word as Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting at the BAFTA Awards. This guy is a Tourette syndrome activist, and he also suffers from the disease. He said he is deeply mortified if anyone considers my involuntary tics to be intentional or to carry any meaning. He apparently was shouting things throughout the night. This wasn't the only incident. The host of this show, I think it was Alan Cumming, had made some statements about that and trying to kind of calm everybody down. At some point, this guy ended up leaving of his own accord. They didn't ask him to leave, but he apparently left because he realized he was disrupting the program. Yeah. But Tourette syndrome advocate John Davidson speaking out after yelling a racial slur while Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were presenting at the British Academy Film Awards. This guy first began experiencing symptoms of Tourette syndrome, which causes involuntary verbal and physical tics as a child. He shouted the N-word as the Sinners actors presented the award for Best Visual Effects at the show on Sunday. He said, I wanted to thank BAFTA and everyone involved in the awards last night for their support and understanding and inviting me to attend the broadcast. I appreciated the announcement to the auditorium in advance of the recording, warning everyone that my tics are involuntary and are not a reflection of my personal beliefs. And unfortunately, this guy just, boy, oh boy, what a terrible time to have that happen.
Yeah, obviously. And then I believe that the BBC left the audio up for an extended period of time, so they're under some fire for not editing that right away where people couldn't go and hear it. But saying phrases or words they do not mean, don't endorse or feel great distress about afterwards.
Yeah, and the BBC issuing an apology, of course, afterwards, saying that some people may have heard strong and offensive language. This arose from involuntary verbal tics, and again, trying to help people understand that this guy has no control over this. It just is an absolutely unfortunate situation where that occurred. Nancy Guthrie still missing, and apparently the backpack that they found has nothing to do with the guy, but now they're saying he apparently came to the house on a previous night.
I don't understand how we have
nothing.
All of our best people working on this, and there's just it feels crazy.
This is a law enforcement source saying that a photo of the suspect in the Nancy Guthrie case appears to have been taken on a different day than the other ones that were released by the FBI. The source confirming the news, but could not say when the photo was actually taken. Obviously, this would be previous because the photos that the FBI released are on the night that she went missing. News stations out there in Tucson have reached out to the sheriff's office. He said that information did not come from his office or the FBI. Said there is no date or timestamp associated with the images. Therefore, any suggestion that the photos were taken on different days is purely speculative.
Okay.
The photo, which can be seen on the left of this news report that I'm looking at, was among a batch that were released by the FBI on February 10th. The suspect in that photo, unfortunately, unlike the other one, doesn't have a backpack or a gun. So either he hadn't put them on yet, came to the door earlier, and then went back to get his stuff, or this is a photo from a different day where he was already scoping out the place and maybe realized she wasn't home or saw something he didn't like. The investigation obviously is still going on. She's still missing. They did find that backpack, but they have disincluded that from the investigation, says it doesn't have anything to do with it. And the Winter Olympics, of course, wrapping up with Team USA beating Team Canada in the men's hockey game on Sunday.
46 years ago today in Lake Placid, the miracle on ice. And a United States team with an opportunity here in Milan to win the gold medal for the first time since. And this game will head to sudden death overtime. Puck winds up behind the net. Walk across it comes. Jeff Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States to defeat Canada for the first time since the 1980 miracle. The United States takes the gold.
Yeah, and while the Americans were celebrating, the Canadians were losing their collective minds, making all sorts of statements, including the hockey players. The guy who whiffed on the open net there.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, I think you know who the better team was on the ice last night. Like, oh, you mean your team and you, the guy that missed the totally open net there, Mr. Man? That guy? One Canadian in particular is going viral because, much like Dallas Cowboy fans, he decided to destroy his television after Canada lost to the U.S., and he took a chainsaw to this bad boy. Watching the game, Canada loses to the U.S. in overtime, and then this guy picks up his chainsaw and destroys his television with it. And now the clip is going viral. Some Canadians were supposed to be polite.
Yeah, that didn't really change anything. Now he's just down a TV, but I guess fun.
Maybe he was already looking to replace the television. He said, hey, if it's going to go out, let's go out with, you know.
Yep. They're a lot cheaper now. I can just replace this one.
Yeah. What?
So the players were in Miami at the nightclub.
Oh, they've been everywhere, man. They're all over the place. They're loving it. Partying in the locker room with the FBI director who had to release a statement, and then getting invited to the White House. They had Trump call them while they were in there partying, and it's a scene, man.
Double-decker bus driving through South Beach, Miami last night.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
Not too cold. Certainly not as cold as it was this past weekend, but still doing that winter thing. I did look ahead, and it seems like maybe by the end of next week, we're going to be consistently near 50 degrees. I know we got one day this week where it's going to creep up into the 50s.
Well, soon to be March here.
But yeah, March starts on Sunday, man, so it's coming. Got an email from Matt who said, I'm still going to get coffee. And it's a picture of a guy wading through about 3 feet of snow in a blizzard to go get his coffee. Also got a text from Jacob who said, I thought Canadians were nonviolent. And I said, to be fair, it was only a television, looked to be about a 40-incher. So maybe he was due for a replacement, something bigger, and decided that if the Canadians lost, he was going to take it out with a chainsaw.
Make a little scene. You got to plan ahead with the chainsaw. That's not just to grab something and smash it kind of.
Yeah, Cowboys fans usually just run head first into them or smash them with their fists or pick them up,
but that's like, hey, I got to go get the chainsaw, and it's a thought-out thing.
The Bucks were off last night. They'll be at home tonight at 7 o'clock against the Miami Heat. The Wisconsin Badgers are off until tomorrow night when they'll be at Oregon. That's a 10 p.m. tip on the Big Ten Network. Badgers fell out of the top 25 after they lost to Ohio State last week. So they were ranked 24th, but now they're unranked again and take on Oregon tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Manny Pacquiao going to meet again.
Saw that.
In a professional boxing rematch. This will happen in September at the Sphere in Vegas. The fight will be streamed on Netflix. Mayweather turns 49 today, by the way. Retired from boxing at the age of 40 after his August 2017 knockout of Conor McGregor, which ran his record to a perfect 50-0 with 27 wins by stoppage. He has since stayed active by competing in exhibitions as opposed to professional fights against people like Logan Paul and John Gotti III. It was announced last September that Mayweather and Mike Tyson would meet in an exhibition match sometime this spring. No date or site has yet been confirmed. So not sure if that match is going to happen, that fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather Jr., or if Mayweather's just going to skip that one and go and do this Manny Pacquiao thing again. But old guys fighting and making a lot of money doing it.
That's just, big paychecks, fat paychecks.
Lindsey Vonn, I knew it was this bad too. I said it to my wife when it happened. When she went down, and they, essentially stopped everything for a half hour, and they weren't showing her, and you could hear her screams. And I said, man, it's got to be worse than an ACL tear or something like that.
So she's in the United States and 5 surgeries so far.
Well, and basically they were talking about amputating her leg in Italy. But she had this special super duper nerd surgeon over there with her, part of her team, and he was able to get to her and operate on her immediately and save the leg. It's crazy if you haven't read about it. But Vaughn said she nearly lost her leg following that crash in the women's downhill at the Olympics. She revealed yesterday on an Instagram post that her injuries went far beyond the complex tibia fracture in the leg that she initially heard after clipping the gate and sailing off the course back on February 8th. She said the trauma from the crash led to compartment syndrome in her leg. It involves excessive pressure building up inside a muscle from bleeding or swelling. The high pressure then restricts blood flow and can lead to permanent injury if not treated quickly. She credited Dr. Tom Hackett, who is an orthopedic surgeon who works for her and Team USA, for conducting a fasciotomy to salvage her leg. And like I said at the time, this is like Alex Smith, who was with the Chiefs at the time and had to have all those surgeries and had the infections and all the stuff.
Yes.
Similar to that.
Yes. So he was able to cut it open basically on both sides and let the pressure
He
out.
filleted her, basically. That's what she said. She's like, he filleted my leg.
And let it, breathe and have the ability to swell without...
Yeah, without being closed inside by the skin. Yeah, everything's in there. It's just held together by the skin. It's all just dangling around.
By the way, just a side note, she also broke her ankle in there. So that's the other thing. So she'll be in a wheelchair for at least a couple months.
Oh, yeah. And in other women's Olympic news, the hockey gold medal winning team has declined the invitation from the president to attend his State of the Union address today. Much like the NHL players, they're all getting back to the country and have they haven't seen their some of their families and dogs, and they've got laundry to do, and then they got to get back to work, and they got to go back to school. A lot of these girls are college players, so they got to get back to school.
There's tons of Badgers.
They say we are sincerely grateful for the invitation extended to our gold medal winning U.S. women's hockey team and deeply appreciate the recognition of their extraordinary achievement. Due to the timing and previously scheduled academic and professional commitments following the games, athletes are unable to participate. They were honored to be included and are grateful for the acknowledgement. Trump will also asking the men's team to arrive at the White House as well. But again, these guys have got to go back to work.
Pros are going back to being pros, and the students are going back to being students, because they've missed, 2-3 weeks, or at least.
More, because they had to travel out in advance, and they had hockey before the Olympics even started. And so, the women were playing before the games even began. So, no big surprise that they're not able to go today when the State of the Union address is happening, but they might be able to get there at some point.
Right, for a later celebration.
In the off-season, something along those lines. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to some new stuff from Volbeat next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene on your rock station.
The new stuff from Volbeat's Demonic Depression. Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. The State of the Union tonight at 8 p.m. on all the major networks. President Trump giving the State of the Union address 2026. Again, that tips off at 8 p.m. tonight on all the major networks.
Yep, everywhere you turn.
Drinking game? We got a drinking game for this?
I don't know. I have been kind of out of the loop with that, but I'm sure there usually is.
Every time he mentions China?
I don't know.
Take a drink when you mention Iraq?
Get a big bottle of your favorite.
Every time he says big, beautiful? Do we get to take a drink?
Tremendous.
Tremendous. That's the word we're looking for.
Fake news.
Fake news. What
Economy,
about
Iran?
What about Olympics? How many drinks are we taking when he mentions the Olympics?
There's a couple 1 sip, 2 sip things here. Ooh. So Mark's safe from taking a shot every time.
The State of the Union address tonight at 8 p.m. on all the major networks. Meanwhile, on NBC,
what?
Coast to Coast Tuesday basketball.
Ooh, okay.
Cavaliers hosting the Knicks. That game tips off at 7. Portland Trailblazers hosting the Minnesota Timberwolves. That game tips off at 10 p.m. It's the NBA on NBC with their coast-to-coast Tuesday doubleheader. Do that every week now that the NBA is back on NBC. Meanwhile, on Netflix, a new stand-up special from Taylor Tomlinson. It's called Prodigal Daughter.
If you have depression, you have a pretty complicated relationship with death. You sort of look at death like it's the Phantom of the Opera. You're like, oh, that's scary. But then sometimes you're like, I mean, that side of his face is kind of hot. Coming out as bisexual at 30 feels like saying to a waiter, by the way, it's my birthday. And they're like, cool, sing to yourself. You're a grown woman, so... I started dating this girl who was so hot. I was like, oh my God, am I Pete Davidson? When I started dating women, it was the closest I'd come to feeling religious in a long time. My friends would complain about their boyfriends and husbands, and I was like, have you heard the good news? You don't have to live like this.
A new stand-up special from Taylor Tomlinson on Netflix today called Prodigal Daughter. Also on the Boob Tube tonight, new episodes of Best Medicine and Will Trent. The late-night shows are new this week after going into repeats and being preempted for the Olympics over the last couple of weeks. Courtney Cox, Jeff Probst, the host of Survivor, and James Blake going to be on with Jimmy Fallon. Kimmel's talking to Jon Favreau, John Lovett, and Linda Perry. I don't know if she's performing or what the deal is there, but... Born on Blondes, Linda Perry. Josh Dickerson is going to be on with Stephen Colbert, and Jenny Slate will be talking to Seth Meyers on the late night shows. We watched that movie Dead of Winter with Emma Thompson.
Yeah.
The widower who had to take her husband's ashes to a lake in northern Minnesota.
Yes.
And ended up encountering a kidnapping and then trying to rescue the girl. It wasn't bad.
Was good? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. There was a few things I questioned in the movie. Number one, there was a scene where the lawyer or attorney or whoever it is, the guy.
Was representing who? The
husband and his final wishes. In the movie, they make their relationship seem very important, right?
Yeah. Husband, wife, you mean?
Right. Long time, right? Northern Minnesota, like just the two of them, never had kids. And
yes,
so like they're
right.
like a very special bond.
Yes.
Right? They have a lot of throwbacks, in the movie. And the direction of what to do with his ashes seemed like a surprise to her.
And you're like, how is that a surprise if you're
and
this
I'm
loving
like,
couple?
bro, if you're like married for 50, 60 years and you go through all the things that they went through, you
probably have an idea what their wishes are.
You kind of got to know what the husband's wishes are with the ashes, right? You kind of have to know that.
It's not a surprise.
Right. So that part I was sort of, and it didn't feel necessary. It didn't help the story at all. All it did was maybe, kind of question what they were doing there. And then the whole, I get it. The movie's called Dead of Winter. And
so it's winter?
Right. But you couldn't wait till the lake thawed to go dump the ashes in? I mean, like, you got to do it today? It's like, and I get it. That's the premise of the movie. All this is happening in the winter, which makes it harder and more difficult, and all the things that have to occur in the ice and the shanty and all the things.
Yes. Weather plays a factor.
But at the same time, I'm watching this and I'm like,
hey, could this movie have been called
like April?
Early spring?
Winter thaw? Like maybe wait till the ice is off the lake.
Flowers and stuff.
I don't know if his ashes need to get in there right now, but anyways. But otherwise, it was okay. It wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. Also, I'm not sure if you saw, but the former star of Home Improvement, one of the kids, the oldest of the three boys,
see this.
Zachary Ty Bryant, the one who keeps getting arrested for DUIs. Yeah, he's going to prison.
Trouble,
yeah, he got sentenced to 16 months in prison for his arrest in 2024. He pled guilty yesterday morning to driving under the influence with an enhancement for driving with a blood alcohol level of 0.15 or higher. Obviously, almost twice the legal limit there. Judge denied probation, hit him with 16 months. He gets a credit for 57 days served, but he's going to prison for year and a half. He's had several run-ins with the law over the years, including 2 arrests for domestic violence. So rough life for that kid.
Yeah, he's had turned into a
hasn't been
kind of criminal, huh?
Hasn't been good for him. Rock Mornings, Brian and Gene, did you catch anything on the boob tube? Did you watch any Olympics? Obviously, Olympics.
That was it.
We were watching a lot of it.
Lots and lots and lots.
Well, and especially at the end, where everything's kind of sandwiched there with all the gold medal stuff, and you're watching the U.S. women's hockey, and then the men on Friday, and then again on Sunday, and then there's all the final events. I watched a lot of cross-country skiing on Saturday because it was one of the final events, and Norway was just kicking everybody's ass. They got this crazy new thing. Did you watch this? What was it? The mountain climbing one where they got to take the skis off and put the skis on and put them on the bag, and they got to put them in a bag, and they got to put them on. It was, and the guy's trying to explain all the rules, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, it's physically demanding, all that stuff. But
can't imagine.
Nobody's doing that in real life. It's not a real sport. And if the explanation is confusing, I don't want to watch it. I have zero interest. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It just looked like torturous.
Like when they go off the jump and they spin around. Got it. Easy.
The only part about that looked enjoyable was the coming down. You know what I mean? They'd do all the things, get to the top, then they'd ride down the mountain. Then they'd do all the things and get to the top and do the stairs. And then
this one dude from Norway was doing cross-country skiing for like 2.5 hours.
I know. I saw that.
And then at the end, they just kind of collapse.
Yes.
Oh, no thanks. But this, I don't know what it was called. It was
I know what you're talking about.
Chromo or slow-mo or, I don't know, some dumb thing. And I just... It was infuriating to watch because every time they stopped and did something, the guy had to explain what was going on. I'm like,
so hard, though. Oh, my gosh.
These guys are just sitting around at the Olympics office going, what can we do to make these people, like, struggle? I don't know, make them climb a mountain and take their skis off and fight a bear and, find a Sasquatch. I mean, what's next? What else?
Start a fire.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com.
What was the ring situation with you? It got in the trash, right? At your wedding?
Oh, yeah.
So the best man accidentally threw it away?
Yes. The best man stopped at the morning of our wedding.
Okay.
And as a sweet gesture, cleaned out his vehicle because it was going to be used to transport the wedding party from the church to the bar, from the bar to the reception, right? Like
standard
Wisconsin wedding.
We're going to the bar.
So he was cleaning out his vehicle and, throwing garbage away and vacuuming it out quick at the gas station on his way to the ceremony. And apparently my ring was part of I'm going to clean out the garbage of my car and throw it in the garbage can.
So he knew, though, that it had to be either in the car or in the trash, because
when he got to the church and they were doing all the guy things, where's the ring? How you doing? Should we have a shot of whiskey before this thing happens?
Yes,
Whatever
should.
That exchange was between them, he realized it was no longer in his possession, so had to turn around, drive the 20 mile, whatever it was, 15 miles, 20 miles to the gas station.
Everyone the situation. He didn't.
He told my husband because he's like.
Hey, look,
it's
dude.
almost go time, right? I mean, it's not like we've got hours. It's like, it's go time. And he had to drive, 15 miles there and back, dig through the garbage.
Okay.
And was able to retrieve it and get back in time. But it was close. And I never let him forget that.
Oh, nor should you. Nor should you. It's a great story. Similar situation where a woman near Philadelphia, her name is Cindy Ware, W-A-R-E, recently lost the diamond from her engagement ring. Not the actual ring, but the diamond.
Well, the prongs can get loose and that can come out. It's happened to me. And you just got to make sure.
My wife takes it in every year and it gets, cleaned and gets reset and all that stuff. And the pretty big deal for this woman apparently because it was a family heirloom, not just the engagement ring that he bought it,
I mean, no matter what, it would be a big deal. But it was a diamond that had been passed down.
Yeah. But then it showed up in a very unexpected place. Her neighbor found it stuck in the tread of one of his water shoes. She thinks what happened was it fell out during a water aerobics class near her home. He plays volleyball in the same pool and must have stepped on it in the pool with his water shoes on. He found it months later after he'd worn the shoes on vacation while in Florida. So these water shoes are in the pool. They're in Florida. They're in the volleyball game. They're on the beach. They're walking around. They're in the hotel room.
And it was stuck up into the tread so tightly that it never loosened up and came out.
1 in a million shot, Jerry.
I still don't believe it.
Went down there, wore them on the beach to the pool. So when I saw it finally on the bottom of my shoe, I assumed that I must have picked it up in Florida, probably at the pool. Said, yes, it's a diamond from the 50s or 60s. That night, I just posted a picture of it in my shoe on Facebook.
Too many things had to happen just right for me to even know where it was or how it was saved.
To be able to just add a little bit more happiness there, that's pretty swell.
You heard from Cindy and her neighbor Coleman. Didn't want his last name out there.
So it's not even that he knew that Cindy's diamond ever went missing.
When you look at the shoes, too, you can see. So they've got, the rubber bottom and they're flat, but then they've got these holes, and there's the diamond, perfect fit, right there in one of these little holes amongst the wavy lines on the bottom of his little water shoes. And biggity bam, there he is, able to return the diamond to her after she lost it in the pool.
Well, like I said, and he didn't even know that was a thing that she lost in the pool. This just happened to be that he said, hey, and she's like, oh, my God, this can't be.
Already neighbors, already friends, already working out and doing stuff in the same pool at the Y or wherever they go.
Feels ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, it's such a weird set of circumstances. But she was able to get her diamond back and probably got that engagement ring fixed up.
Oh,
and
everything's all
sealed in with some super glue or Loctite or something.
Ready to go.
Yeah. Elsewhere, this is in Phoenix, Arizona. And, a lot of times you get the Amber Alert on your phone and it's a couple counties over and it's a very, descriptive alert about a vehicle, license plate, what the guy or girl looks like, what the kid looks like. But you never... And then you're looking out your car for every single Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? You never know if it's that guy or this guy, if they cross county lines or if they're over here in this state and they come to this state. It happened in Phoenix, Arizona, and some employees for a moving company were apparently at a gas station.
And saw the vehicle. With
gassing up, getting some snacks, and then saw a girl that matched the description. And not only did they call the cops, but they also used their moving truck to block this vehicle in so it couldn't leave the store. And sure enough, biggity bam, there it is.
The Amber Alert system works. We're good Samaritans, do the right thing. I mean, we have core values about community and being proactive. We're a moving company. We're not professional heroes by any means, but to listen to the dash cam and watch the dash cam footage of the crew kind of identifying the situation and who this was and putting the plan together that we're going to block this truck in with our truck and not allow them to leave, I couldn't be more proud.
And as you heard there, because this moving company...
Well, they see the girl and they're like, wait a minute.
Because this moving company has dash cam video to keep track of their drivers and make sure everything's on the up and up. And in case someone questions their, what they did with their boxes and all that crap, they've got video of this incident going down at this gas station. Yeah, somebody reported a 2-year-old girl that was allegedly abducted from her home near the Phoenix area is now safe thanks to the help of a moving crew and a gas station security guard. The security guard was working at a Quick Trip in the Phoenix area, spelled with a Q, not a KW, recognized Kalani Rogers and the suspect, a 23-year-old named Marina Noriega, on Sunday morning after getting an Amber Alert the day before. Immediately, the guard jumped into action and enlisted the help of Camelback Moving, the team that was at the gas station after noticing the toddler and the suspect. Together, the moving crew, spotting the suspect's vehicle, worked to box this woman in while the security guard called 911. After boxing in the pickup truck that Noriega was using, Phoenix police arrived within minutes, and she was taken into custody. The young girl's safe had not been hurt, and everything's well that ends well.
Right. I get what you're saying. You see the Amber Alerts, and, here was a great reason to notify the public, because then somebody can see something and say something.
Yeah, the woman, Noriega, now facing a felony custody interference charge. Her bond was set at $250,000. So obviously trying to abduct her, sounds like her own kid. And thanks to the Amber Alert, it worked. And thanks to the moving guys boxing in the truck.
Mm-hmm. You ain't going anywhere.
Security guard at the gas station. It's crazy. Don't disregard those Amber Alerts, man. When they pop up on your phone, you never know.
Oh, for sure. Silver Alerts, too. Have you seen when you're driving and you see those? Keep your eye out for those vehicles as well.
We got a lot to get to. Our good buddy Grant Bilse of the Wisco Sports Show is going to join us just after 8 a.m. It's apparently National Tortilla Chip Day.
Have some nachos.
If you're going to get lunch at Chipotle, I guess, for National Tortilla Chip Day, they'll give you free chips and queso with an order.
Ooh, yum.
National Trading Card Day. You got some baseball cards or Pokemons. And World Bartender Day. Make sure you tip your bartenders. Going to have a cocktail after work. We'll get to some Day Seeker in a few minutes, and we're going to talk about the Year of the Crack. Have you heard about the Year of the Crack?
I have not. Not cracking?
Yeah, just crack.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Start your day with Rock Mornings.
Rockmornings.com is the website if you want to get in touch with us. Find all of our contact info there. You can also listen to the show live on the website at rockmornings.com. You can check out the daily podcast on the website. And you can also download the apps. 95.7 The Rock app, 92.9 The X app. You can communicate with us through the apps with voicemails, pictures, and videos. You can sign up to win prizes.
I was just going to say, lots of stuff to win for free through that app. Just click win stuff.
You can find out about all the promotions and things that we're doing.
Leave us a voicemail.
On the app. You can find out more about our Skip Day on March 20th.
Is this basketball related?
Yeah, well, the March Madness begins. So March...
On the 17th, I think,
15th.
Right?
March 15th is Selection Sunday. Then the games begin on the 17th with the first four, right? And then that weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's the tournament. So on Friday, March 20th, I will once again be at the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire for a NCAA Skip Day. And we'll be drinking some beers.
Watching some basketball.
And we'll be giving away all sorts of prizes. There was about a bazillion T-shirts last year. We had tickets for Rockfest and a bunch of other concerts that we gave away. We had some like mini radios. We had can koozies. We had all sorts of stuff.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, so take the day off of work on Friday, March 20th.
Well, at least the afternoon, huh?
Or clock out early. I should be there sometime around 11 o'clock. And we'll be watching basketball and drinking beers and having a good time. If you've never been, by the way, they have a deck. It's right on the water. And it's absolutely lovely. Yeah. I just wish it was a better time of year because then it'd be tough, though, because I'd want to be out there watching the river rather than inside watching the game. But, yeah, NCAA Skip Day, you can find out more about that on the 92.9 The X app. Join me. It'll be good times. Something that you've always thought was impressive until you've done it.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I still think it's impressive, so I'm not going to say that. The whole baby thing, having a baby, right? A human being that grows in your belly and then comes out.
Yeah, that's still impressive.
Yeah.
Well, it's more about something that seemed insurmountable and then ended up being kind of mundane. You know what I mean? Here's a perfect example for me. This is my example. If I were to ask this question.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
When we bought our first house. Now, granted, we had a very easy, smooth transaction.
Everything went according to plan.
But man, I thought that was going to be
like signing the paperwork.
The craziest, weirdest, like not,
I got to go to a bank and get a loan and sign the paperwork and buy a house, and this is forever, and it's a lot of money.
It seems overwhelming. And I was in my late 20s, early 30s when we bought our first house, so it wasn't like I hadn't lived a lot of life yet. It wasn't like I was in my early 20s and I was just coming out of the box.
You just couldn't believe this was happening to you?
But it ended up being a very easy transition. I mean, the guy was selling it himself. There was no real estate company. Mm-hmm. And granted, it could have gone worse. But man, you hear these stories and but I thought it was going to be a real big process, and it ended up being pretty mundane. And it was nice. Mm-hmm. It made it very easy for us to buy our first home. Nothing comes to mind for you?
No, not really.
No kind of crazy recipe of something that you thought would be like
nothing.
Like a souffle?
No. I'm just trying to... maybe... but it didn't turn out to be mundane. But I did it better than I thought I would. How's that?
Okay.
I thought I would never be able to fly for a long period of time.
On a plane?
Without being,
out?
Sedated. Out. drooling out. I never thought I would be able to do any more than like 3 hours.
And now you've gone overseas several times. You've gone down to Florida a couple times.
So those are, I could that was domestic. It was like, okay, as long as I'm there in 3 hours, I got this. It's the whole, like, I got to be on this plane for 10, 11. I never thought it was possible. And it wasn't mundane, but it was doable.
Somebody online on an Ask Reddit asking that very question, what is something that sounds impressive until you've actually done it? And somebody answered running a marathon.
Oh, that seems very hard. And not like where you're done. Oh, that was easy. No, not mundane.
Look, I could not go out and run a marathon.
Training and
I would
all
have
that
to train
stuff?
for years.
Yes.
But they said, this person who responded with running a marathon, they said, before you do it, it feels like a monumental, almost mythical achievement. Afterwards, you realize it's just a very long, painful, and boring experience that leaves you with blisters and desperate for a banana.
Okay, that seems
it's still
hard,
impressive.
and it is hard.
Because the average person can't go out and run a marathon.
Right.
You just can't do it.
I thought climbing a mountain would be mundane, and then I did it, and it was mundane. No, it's not. You climbed a mountain. You ran a marathon.
Making a very good mushroom Parmesan risotto.
Okay, I'm with you on that.
Skills required stirring. Actually, 90% of it is stirring and waiting. 10% is tasting and seasoning.
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just sort of there like this and making sure you don't overcook or undercook, and you're checking and checking and checking. Here's one that is difficult for a lot of people. Obviously, it doesn't apply to us. Public speaking. And I remember vividly my mom, who worked in the business world as a kid, when I was a kid, she worked in the business world. She went to these seminars about how to win friends and influence people, and it was like about public speaking and all these things. And at the time, I had no idea I would end up on the radio or whatever. But as a person who talks for a living and talks in front of large groups of people on a regular basis, in bars full of strangers, on stages in front of thousands of human beings, I've never had an issue with it.
My husband's terrified of it.
But there's so many people out there
terrified.
And I always look at him because I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's just a microphone.
To them, it's a very big
But for some people, I find that one odd because the people that I know that think it's impressive, when they have to they still don't find it to be mundane. They still are terrified. They're pooping their pants. They can't handle it. Somebody else said marriage. I don't know, man. I don't think marriage is easy, no matter what kind of marriage you got. There's always bumps and bruises, right?
Give it time.
Somebody else buying your first house. Juggling.
See, I still think that sounds hard. I don't.
We look at it as it being impressive because we cannot do it. But then my guess is once that skill sets in and you can do it, you're like, oh, this is stupid. I could have done this a long time ago. It's like you and whistling. You can't whistle.
That's correct.
But I bet if you could figure it out or give it a try.
Like if I cared enough to really, really try for hours and train myself and then I did it, I'd say.
You'd be like, this is stupid. Why was I always so anti-whistling? Somebody else said surfing. That seems difficult, especially the part about getting into the ocean where the sharks are. And the octopus and the crabs and the lobsters and the stingrays and all the other animals that want to kill you. I'm good with that one. But something that sounds impressive until you've actually done it. And I think that for me personally, it was buying a house. I just thought it was going to be crazy. And it wasn't. Even the second time around, it wasn't too bad.
Well, once you've done it once, it's just a matter of new paperwork. It's fine. I mean, really.
Corbin texted in, said, cooking pizza in a 500-degree wood-fired pizza oven, doing it better than the pizza god himself. Ooh, Corbin, those are...
Just throwing down some fighting words.
Those are some fighting words right there. Well, yeah, you got to be very mindful. It only takes like 90 seconds, and you got to have that paddle in there, and you got to move it around and all that stuff. And could go for one of those pizzas right now.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find the daily podcast at rockmornings.com.
The Winter Olympics coming to an end on Sunday with the U.S. men beating Canada in overtime for the hockey gold. Closing ceremonies. Now we look ahead to the Winter Paralympics, which begin next Friday and go through the 15th.
Got it.
So March 6th through the 15th, the Winter Paralympics take place in Italy, obviously. And then the next games will be the 2028 Summer Olympics, which are set for L.A. Some events will take place in other parts of the United States. Preliminary games for the soccer tournament are going to take place in locations like New York, Columbus, Ohio, St. Louis, Missouri, and other cities throughout the country. In addition to some of the soccer tournament games, Oklahoma is going to play host to both the softball tournament and the canoe slalom. That's the one where they're in the kayak, right? And they're going down like the rapids or whatever.
Yeah, where's that one going to be?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
This will be the first time the Olympics are back in the U.S. since 2002 when the Winter Olympics were held in Salt Lake City, and the first Summer Olympics in the U.S. since 96 when we had them in Atlanta with the bombing that happened in Richard Jewell. So, yeah, we've got the Winter Paralympics that begin on Friday, and then, of course, you've got the Summer Olympics in 2028 set mostly in L.A. Bucks were off last night. They'll be at home tonight at 7 o'clock against the Miami Heat. Badgers don't play till tomorrow night when they'll be at Oregon. That's a 10 p.m. tip on the Big Ten Network. Badgers were in the top 25, but they fell out of the top 25 after they lost to Ohio State last week. 4 games left in the regular season before March Madness begins. Toyota Racing Development said yesterday it had signed Kevin Harvick's kid, Keelan Harvick, to a contract. 13-year-old, third-generation driver. He's now got himself a long-term deal. Keelan told the Associated Press that his main goal is to be just like my dad and just try to make it to the Cup Series. Toyota Driver Development Program has promoted current NASCAR Cup drivers Christopher Bell, Corey Haim, John Hunter Nemechek, and others such as Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez, who worked with Toyota but now compete for rival manufacturers. So pretty good program there. And Keelan Harvick now going to be working for them. Pacers star point guard Tyrese Halliburton already missing the season as he continues to recover from his torn Achilles tendon, but he'll be away from the team for a separate issue now as he's got shingles.
Oh, my gosh, really?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Head coach of the Indiana Pacers, Rick Carlisle, said on Sunday that Tyrese Halliburton had come down with the shingles and is going to spend 2 to 3 weeks away from the team to recover. Said it's a very painful thing.
Yeah.
They'll make a full recovery, but this happened over the last few days. He was meeting us in D.C., had some odd symptoms, and he came back to Indy. That's what's happening with him. We certainly wish him a speedy recovery. It's a unique case and a unique situation, but I talked to him a few times, and he's always in a good mood, so he'll get through it. Shingles. That's the chickenpox thing, right?
Yes.
Where if you don't get the chickenpox as a kid, then you can get shingles.
You do have the chickenpox as a kid, I believe. It's caused by it's if you had
like
them.
A dormant type thing. Lingers silently.
Yes.
And then you get the red pussy sores all over your body.
Yes,
right?
After a person's had chickenpox, it reactivates years later.
Yeah.
Often triggered by stress or a weakened immune system. And yeah, my father-in-law had it once. It was debilitating for weeks.
Isn't that what Ned Ryerson got? Got the shingles real bad. Dated your sister till you told me not to. Got the shingles real bad. How'd it work out with that whistling belly button trick? No? Ned the head, needle in the head, Ned? Ryerson. It's a doozy. No?
Sounds awful. So
right.
He had a torn Achilles and then he got shingles. That sounds awful.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's
not a good year.
Adding insult to injury.
Don't buy any lottery tickets this season. Next hour, we're going to talk to Grant Bilse of the Wisco Sports Show. Looking forward to hearing from him, get his sort of wrap up for the Olympics. Find out how he feels about the Brewers. Well, rough start, man. They're, I think, 0-4. They got games every day.
Sunday,
the World Baseball Classic is coming up. I don't know if he's interested in that. The regular season, of course, is only a few weeks away. We'll talk to him about all that stuff. Also, bad news, happy music, and our daily check-ins. RockMornings.com to get in touch with us.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Weekdays, 6 to 9.
Bored from Return to Dust. It's Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. We'll get to Grant Bilse in a bit. Also, bad news, happy music. And it's the year of the crack, if you haven't heard. Vogue magazine dubbing 2026 as the year of the crack. And they're not talking about Lawrence Taylor in The Waterboy, where he advises you not to smoke crack. They're talking about butt crack, plumber's crack. As in spackle that.
It's the year of that?
Yeah, apparently a lot of celebutantes, the young ladies that are of the celebrity type, influencers, have been showing off their butt crack at various award shows.
So low, scooping back dress, I would imagine.
Yeah, and then maybe just a very small pair of underwear, if any at all. But fashion runways, high-end designers hyping a look featuring a very decent amount of plumber's crack. Some celebrities and influencers have also been experimenting with the trend as well, including Kendall Jenner, Zoe Kravitz, Hailey Bieber. Not a brand new trend. It's been around for a while, apparently. It was a hot trend at the Milan Fashion Week with low-cut jeans. Were we doing this in the 2000s, the early 2000s? With the Christina Aguileras and the Britneys with the low-rise jeans?
Yes.
And you could kind of see the top of the hump of their butt cheeks. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is more about the crack itself than the butt cheek. It's the year of the crack. Apparently, it's not just for women either. It's for men as well in 2026. So...
The low-riding jeans again? Is this a thing?
If you see me coming in here...
But not your underwear?
With my butt crack exposed, Gene, just know that I'm trying to set some trends.
You're trying to be fashionable?
I am. That's me. As I wear my shorts with my chunk... ugly Hawaiian T-shirt.
So, right.
The year of the crack. Tiana Taylor already doing that at the 2026 Golden Globes. In a custom black dress, turned around, and there it was. The crack was covered in diamonds on the red carpet.
Butt cracks are in? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. At the 2025 Met Gala, Vogue said that boobs were back, but this year it's the
not.
crack.
It's the crack.
The crack is back.
Crack's back.
Trends alert, and it's the butt crack. Glam squad whisper, it's lower back. Baby, we talking plumber's crack. Peekaboo and look down there. Lower back canyon, capture a stare. The waistline dip, that Y-shaped track. Call it the booty cleavage, come back. Strutting the catwalk with no slack. It's the derriere groove and crack attack. 2026, so don't look back. According to Vogue, it's the year of the crack.
By the way, plastic surgeons are like, hey, we can help with this, but do it for yourself, not because it's a trend, because trends come and go. So if you're going to have some sort of butt crack facelift surgery.
You can have a butt crack facelift?
Dude, you can have everything.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz apparently at the Vanity Fair Oscar party had a dress where it was like a little mesh window where the butt crack was, as opposed to like an actual low-cut dress. So a little peekaboo action going on there, but most of them are these low-cut dresses.
Okay.
Where a little bit of the crack is hanging out at the top.
There's a giant crack in the ice.
She said crack. Crack. Giant crack. Just a big giant crack.
Yeah. You can have fat grafting done, Brian.
What the hell's fat grafting?
You take fatty tissue from common sites like your lower back or inner thigh and then inject that into your midline to even out any divots you might have in your upper butt crack.
I will never understand people who are vain. I'll never get it.
So if you want to get some divots fixed,
look, I'm not saying that I don't care.
Aesthetic perfection in your rear end.
I'm not saying that I don't care how I look, but man, I don't care how I look. I'm going with whatever life throws at me.
$7,000 and you can have your divots.
More power
fixed.
to them. I just don't. I don't get it. The Botox and the augmentation
long-term
surgeries.
Commitment to a situation.
I've never understood it. I don't get it at all.
Can't you just filter that out with something that's, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like put a filter
pictures?
on it? Yeah.
Well, I think you want to look like that in real life as opposed to.
Of course you do. I understand.
There's some people that
silly.
filter their pictures and you're like, dude, do you even know how not normal this looks?
But you could have that done.
Yeah. I'm not paying somebody $8,000 to suck fat out of my ass and stick it in my face.
It's crooked or it has divots, you can take it
Whatever,
from your
man.
inner thigh and make your butt crack look perfect.
It's going to be crooked. Now, if like my tooth gets knocked out, like Jack Hughes, then I'm going to get it fixed. You know what I mean? Like,
gonna get a veneer.
Something, I don't know, but like I mean, look how goofy Rex Ryan's teeth are. I mean, that guy looks like a character. He looks like a cartoon character out there with his big, giant white teeth. Like, what are you doing? These things are brighter than the sun. Didn't they have a tone a little bit less white than that?
It's very white. It's very white.
He went with, like, brand new car headlight white is what he went with. Blind you from a week away.
Well, if you want to fix your divots, Brian,
I don't
it's
even
out there. Just letting you know. I thought it was the year of the horse or whatever, but no, the crack.
Year of the crack. It may be the year of the horse. I don't know. What is
the year of the fire horse? That's what 2026 is.
The year? Okay.
Yep.
Well, it's the year of the fire horse and the crack. So if you see random people walking around with their ass crack exposed, then they're just trying to be fashionable. Mm-hmm. Didn't we do this with the jeans and the belt above around?
What goes around comes around. Right. Circles back.
It's a circle of life.
It is.
Bad news, happy music on the way. Also, Grant Bilse of the Wisco Sports Show. RockMornings.com to get in touch with us. Nickelback now.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at RockMornings.com.
8:15-ish on Tuesdays. We are admittedly a little bit early this week, but we have a lot to get to. So we wanted to get Grant Bilse, host of the Wisco Sports Show, on the phone right away this morning. You can hear his program every single day from 4 until 6 p.m. on stations all across Wisconsin, like WKTY in La Crosse and Sports Talk 105.1 in Eau Claire. Grant Bilse, how are you, sir?
I am well, Simpson. I am in the beautiful city of Indianapolis. I'm in a big convention center right now for the NFL Combine, which is very exciting.
I didn't realize you were. I was going to ask if you were traveling for spring training. I didn't realize you were going to the Combine. Is this part of your program, or are you just down there as a fan?
Well, imagine if I was down here as an investigative journalist and I was down here to get stories and scoops. No, I'm down here with Bill's show from 10 to 2 Central, and then we'll be doing my evening show here, too.
All right.
So we're just down here broadcasting. Same kind of thing as the Super Bowl. Big convention center, lots of people, guests, people from the Packers and all over the NFL. So that's why we're down here.
Grant, first up, let's get your reaction to the Olympics. The U.S. taking gold in the hockey game for the men and the women. Did you watch on Sunday? You had to have been riveted by the game.
I did. I was up. I wish the game... at the time, I was like, I wish this game could be on Saturday night, or I wish it could be later. I actually didn't mind. I stayed in bed for the whole game and just watched it on my phone. It was it was riveting. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that the broadcast team, and I thought they were both really good, kept hammering, like, this is the first time... we talk about the Miracle on Ice, and everyone watches the movie. This is the first time since that movie that they've won gold.
Since that Olympic.
Yeah, I guess since that Olympics.
Well,
not since the movie.
And the part I think maybe not a lot of people, but several people forget is that the game against the Russians wasn't the gold medal game. That was the preliminary game, and then the U.S. had to move on to beat Finland 4-2 in the gold medal game. Russia, of course, took down Sweden handily 9-2, but how awesome it was, but imagine you move on to the next game and then you lose in the gold medal, and okay, great, you take home silver and you beat the Russians, and that's the story, right? But the story didn't end there. The actual story continued, much like any sort of come from behind. Like I always compare my Red Sox taking on the Yankees and going down 0-3 in the World Series in the ALCS, and then coming back in the first time ever beating a team 4-0 to move on to the World Series. And that was a great series against the Yankees. Yay, we won. But, like, if you go on and you lose the World Series, like, what? It was all for naught.
Yeah, and then it's, it's not the movie Miracle. It's the movie Major League or Moneyball, where it's like, what an incredible underdog story that ends in this moment, and then let's, not remember what happened next, because it didn't go so well. No, the game was incredible, and it was great to see the interview with Hughes and the flags going up. And I talked about this with Bill yesterday. I don't think we're ever going to get to the point like it was in 1980 or in the 90s or the early 2000s for other things where our country had a ton of patriotism, just because we're so fragmented, right? We're not all watching the same game. We're not all paying attention to the same things for much longer than an hour. But I think in 2026, that's about as much patriotism as I've felt in a while. And the game was great. Like, it was truly an underdog win, because that front line for Canada, and they had chances to win. Like, McDavid had a breakaway, Celebrini had a breakaway, McKinnon had an empty netter and an empty backside of that.
McKinnon's miss on the empty netter is an all-timer because he was the guy after the game who said, I think you know who the best team is. It's like, you ass. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Shut your stupid mouth. You whiffed on it, bro, and now you're trying to cover it up with some dirt. Get out of my face with that, man. That was just, Hellebuck had an MVP performance right there, an absolute brick wall.
Yeah,
the teams were up and down the ice. The pace of that game was fantastic. I love Olympic hockey over NHL hockey because it's so much faster. There's no TV timeouts. There's none of this BS that's going on. I thought Olczyk was incredible on the call. I think that hockey guys are the best play-by-play and color guys out there because the action is nonstop, and you have to remember all these names of these guys, and they're passing the puck so fast, over here to this guy, and over here to that guy, and over here to this guy, and over here to this guy, and then the line shifts, and you got to remember who's in and who's out, and they got these crazy Russian, Swedish, Finnish names, and you got to be able to pronounce them, and it's just insane to listen to that guy. He was top-notch, man. He was great.
Well, and I thought about this with the broadcasters, too. I watch so much baseball and so much football and so much basketball. I wouldn't consider myself like an expert, but I watch it all the time. And when the announcers point things out, we roll our eyes, right? Because it's like, well, of course, Chris Collinsworth is saying the obvious, or he's glazing Patrick Mahomes. When I watch these hockey games, it's like, oh my God, I'm listening to Eddie Olczyk and I'm learning something like this back check off of, the goal. Like, all right, here's the goal taking place over here, but the reason that this guy was open is, this other player set a back check down towards the, the alley. And I'm like, oh, like I get a different experience watching hockey just because it's not something that I'm watching every time. So I'm seeing things and I'm enjoying things in a way that I'm probably not seeing and enjoying other sports. So it was really cool in the celebration, obviously. Yeah. A couple pairs of brothers, and I think it's even better because the Four Nations is a year ago, so we had a little recent history with U.S.-Canada already. So 10 out of 10 sporting event. That was incredible.
I know this I know this may sound, I feel like we got to let Russia back in. We need the big bad guy. Like, Canada's nice, and they're the best at hockey, and yada, 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 and it's good to beat them. But they're not a real villain. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really hate them. We could just go up there and take over if we wanted to, and that's, aside from hockey. But
Russia can be back in now.
Well, they cheat and they dope and all the things, and, so, like, and I know the IOC doesn't want, but, like, it just feels like, man, if we really wanted to, like, stake our flag in the sand, we really got to beat a big Russian team. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I guess who would they have even? They would have Kaprizov with the Wild, who's a stud, and, you have all these other guys. I don't know that the United States would have beat him or not. I don't know enough, but you're right that Russia would feel like a villain in a way that Canada probably doesn't. Like, I found myself really pulling for Canada to go down against Czechia and Finland, and they probably should have, if not in both, at least one of those games. But I don't hate them.
Right.
Canada's our polite
Canadians,
neighbor.
Right?
Yeah, they're our polite neighbor, whereas Russia is this
but it did feel good to
rival. Win. Oh, Gina felt very good.
Yes, I think everybody was just like, yeah, especially after the women and having that be the first time ever.
Well, the women were so dominant the entire. You just knew it was going to happen. With the Americans, you're like, okay, they're going to do good and they won, but then they're going to face Canada in the finals, and it's just going to be like Canada's going to turn on the juice and it's going to be over, right? But the women were so dominant, you were just expected them to beat whoever was in front of them. Big takeaway, big picture, Grant. Anything else from the Olympics before we move on to another subject?
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself without curling on my television 24/7.
Man, you got to get over this curling thing. I've heard you bitch about it every day. I've listened to your program. You're like, there's so much curling on TV. Every time I turn on, it's curling.
It's over, though. It's over.
We're in the Indiana Convention Center here. I'm scared that I'm going to walk around the corner because there's more than one convention going on. I'm scared I'm going to walk down the hallway around the corner looking for free food, and I'm going to open a door and there's curling going on in one of these massive convention center rooms. It was cool watching. For me, other than hockey, it was just like random luck what I turned on, right? Like I caught Michaela Schifrin. Mm-hmm. I watched Alyssa Liu. I watched some random doubles figure skating. So I really enjoyed it, and it gave us some great American stories. And not to be all sentimental here, but I did get a little dribs and drabs of patriotism here for our country. It felt like we had a couple moments where I don't even want to say we came together because I don't think we did, but there was a little bit of pride here and there, which is cool. You don't get that often.
Agreed.
Grant Bilse, host of the Wisco Sports Show, joining us each and every Tuesday at about 8:15. Let's move on to spring training baseball. I know you're there for the combine and all that stuff and the workouts, but the Brewers have not had a good start to spring training. They obviously signed the manager to an extension, which is great and all that stuff. But it's only 4 games, 5 games, whatever it is. But they've lost every single one of them. They haven't looked all that great. What are your predictions here for the Brew Crew? Are they going to turn it around? Does it matter at all to you, spring training-wise, in terms of wins and losses? Or are you just concerned strictly about performances?
Results, no, never. And to be honest, Simpson, I don't even know that I'm that worried about performances either from some guys, because I've seen Christian Yelich have incredible spring trainings and then thought, here we go, we're going to hit the ground running. And it's until mid-May until he figures it out in the regular season. So I don't even know if individual performances are that important. I am interested to watch guys like Jesus Mate, Cooper Pratt. Brock Wilken is probably the infield prospect that's like maybe has the most direct path to the major league roster right now. He's a third baseman and it's just been slowed down by injuries. So I know everyone wants to talk about Mate and Pratt, but Brock Wilken might be the closest. So if I'm watching anyone's performance, maybe it's him. I also think, unlike last season, their pitching just needs to arrive into the regular season healthy. They got into the season last year, and we were at opening day, and they were pitching Elvin Rodriguez. Like, they just didn't have any healthy starters. So Brock Wilken is a name for sure. Some of the high-level youngsters who aren't close, but you find those guys interesting. Jesus Mate has been in camp with the team. And then just can they keep their pitching healthy? Brandon Woodruff's a big part of that, too, so kind of following his progression. Those are probably the things that I'm watching.
Elsewhere in the world of baseball, the World Baseball Classic is right around the corner. Are you interested in that? Do you care about that? Does it have any juice?
Yes.
Does it have juice because of the 4 nations in hockey and the recent Olympics and the sort of national pride that people have when it comes to their teams?
So I think that stuff might help a little bit because we're looking for what's next. Right? I think a lot of people watch the 4 nations and then watch the Olympics and thinking, okay, well, now how do we get into the NHL? And it never really, I think we're always looking for the next thing. The World Baseball Classic is awesome. It's a great event. And I remember I was down in spring training, it might have been 4 years ago. What do they do it every 4 years? So I remember Devin Williams was playing. There were a couple other Brewers around the rosters. And these cats were sitting in the clubhouse watching Major League Baseball coverage, watching highlights, watching pregame show. Like, these guys are into it. So that was kind of my introduction to the World Baseball Classic. And remember a couple of years ago, we got Trout versus Ohtani in a huge spot in one of the big games down the stretch. So you get you get teammates or rivals in the league who meet in this thing. So the World Baseball Classic has a ton of juice to me, and it's really cool. And I think to your point, Simpson, yeah, people might be a little bit more inclined to lock in because they're looking for whatever comes next after the Olympics.
Yeah, I enjoy the World Baseball Classic. I think it's way better than watching spring training baseball. It gives you an opportunity to see guys actually playing for wins as opposed to just trying to work out and get some stretches in and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
And you got to realize, too, and this is true of, like, Jack Hughes plays for the Devils, right? Like, there's guys on that Olympic team whose seasons are over. Like, I don't know how the Jets are, some of these high-level guys. That was the most meaningful hockey they've played in months, and they know it's going to be the most meaningful hockey they'll play the rest of the year, maybe even in their career. And I think it's true in baseball, too. Like, you have guys who are playing for the Pirates, or they're playing for the A's, or whoever, where it's like, I know my team. Like, I'm not gunning for an ALCS or an NLCS this year. These guys know that. So I'm not saying their country is more important to them than their major league team, but I think for a lot of guys it's close or it's similar, and they have a way better chance to compete at a high level and do something meaningful on the World Baseball Classic team than they do in, friggin' Minnesota, like with the Twins, right? Some of these players are well aware of that. Like, it's a job, and they understand that their team might stink, and that matters with the way they perceive an opportunity like the Olympics or like the World Baseball Classic.
Grant Bilse, host of the Wisco Sports Show, joining us every Tuesday at about 8:15. And let's move on to the Packers. A couple of off-season notes here. Bisaccia gone. Reaction to that, and also where do you think Malik Willis is going to end up?
Bisaccia, I know a lot of Packers fans wanted him gone. I made the decision around Thanksgiving to just stop blaming the coordinator for the Packers special teams failures. I don't know that Rich Bisaccia was like the super detailed, on-it guy. But you can go back all the way to 2014, and I might be missing a guy, but it's when Sean Slocum, Ron Zook, Sean Menenga, Maurice Drayton, and then Rich Bisaccia the last 4 years. Like, all of these guys can't be idiots. You know what I mean? Like, you can't convince me that they're all terrible coaches, and the Packers have only hired terrible coaches. So organizationally, they need to figure something out. Now, they need to hire a good special teams coach to replace Rich Bisaccia, and they need to figure that out, but they also need to figure out something as an organization. So that's my take on their special teams. Malik Willis, if I was a needy team, a quarterback needy team, my whole offseason would try to be based around how can we sign Malik Willis and draft a guy? How can we do both? Remember, that's what the Seahawks did with Russell Wilson. They signed Matt Flynn, conveniently enough, who came from the Packers too, and they drafted Russell Wilson, and then you let the better man win the job. I don't know that I would sign Malik Willis, with the sole plan of him being the only quarterback in the room, although I think you would have reason to based on what he's played. I think Miami, where Jeff Hafley is interesting. I think Minnesota is really interesting. Why bring him in, have him compete with J.J. McCarthy? I think that would be really interesting. So I think we'll probably, ask me again next week about Malik Willis. I'm going to have my ear to the ground this week at the NFL Combine. There's a lot of little conversations going around in hallways and in back rooms. I bet we get some interesting Malik Willis little tidbits throughout this week, so I'm interested to see. But I would guess a lot of teams.
I'm hearing Browns.
If I was Malik Willis, I would try to not go there. I would go somewhere else.
Yeah,
I would go somewhere
dumpster
else.
fire organization. But if the money's right, you can be Deshaun Watson, right? And you just get paid and get massages, and you're good to go, and it doesn't really matter because you're paid.
Look, if they're going to offer you a mountain more money than anybody else, yeah, I'm never going to begrudge a guy. But if you can pick a place with an established culture and a coach like he had in Green Bay, that's what I would look for. And I think he'll have those options, right? That's the thing. I don't think it's just going to be these dog water teams trying to sign him. So he'll have choices.
One last question for you, NFC North related. How do we feel about the Indiana Bears? They're trying to convince us, Bears fans.
Oh, man, my husband.
Bears fans are trying to convince you that Gary, Indiana, which is essentially where they're going, that bombed-out, terrible town that I told you about.
It's barely
they say it's Hammond, but it's really Gary, Indiana. It's a really bombed-out place. It's awful. It's just, I would never go there. They're trying to convince you that just because it's 20 minutes from Soldier Field, it's still technically Illinois, even though it's actually in a different state. Now, listen, the Jets and the Giants are doing the same damn thing with the Meadowlands in New Jersey. What's our reaction here, Grant, from you about the Indiana Bears?
So,
possibly.
I have a couple different bullet points. I'll give them to you quickly. I don't think that it's the biggest deal in the world when a team plays slightly outside of their city or even across state lines. The Niners play about 60 miles south in Santa Clara, and no one really says boo about it. The Jets and the Giants play across the border in the Meadowlands. No one really says boo about it. So I would like for everyone to apply the same standard to the Midwestern team, the Bears, that they do to the coastal teams. I don't want them to be picked on in a way that coastal teams aren't. I just want to be fair. My problem with the Hammond thing, if you want to go across the border, I really don't think it's a big deal. The site that they're proposing is closer to downtown Chicago than the other site that they proposed in Arlington Heights, and it's actually closer to Chicago than the suburb called East Chicago. You know what I mean? So, it's East Chicago's to the west. They would be closer to East Chicago. My problem with it is it's a dump. It's disgusting. There's a refinery right there. There's the harbor right there. And, look, I'm not telling you that ships don't need to have ports and we don't need to have refinery, but I don't want to build stadiums next to them. So that's my issue with it, is you look at the land in the area, it's like, this is a dump.
Brutal. We drove through there on our way back home from New England where did we go? Nashville. We drove through, and it was the most terrified I have ever been in broad daylight. We're in broad daylight on this road, and I was terrified of the car stalling or someone jumping on our vehicle or someone bombing us. I mean, it is a terrifying stretch of road when you get off that highway in Gary, Indiana, and you got to try to drive through that. It is one of the worst places I've ever seen in my entire life, and you couldn't pay me.
Hammond, not Gary.
It's Gary. You couldn't pay me enough to go anywhere near that for anything, for a football game, for a Metallica concert. I want nothing to do with it. No way.
We drove through there yesterday. I just say of Indiana. Indianapolis seems like a nice place. I've only been here for about 18 hours now, so I guess I'll draw more conclusions. I think Indiana is just like Wisconsin, but without all the good stuff. It's some of these towns, man. Hebron, Lebanon. Where am I? And also, nobody knows how to drive here. I sat in the left lane behind people. I don't understand. The people just camp in the left lane. The semis are just riding next to each other. This place is it weirds me out. And I don't love Chicago either. But again, if you want to go across the border, go somewhere nice. Don't park your stadium next to a friggin' refinery where the air, you could light the air on fire over there. It smells like gas. So I feel for Bears fans in that. If you want to go out in the burbs or find a good plot of land and build it up and make it nice, that's not a problem. But don't do it there. That place sucks.
Grant, always a pleasure. Have a good time in Indy. Are you back in Madison next week, or are we going to be interfering with more travel?
No. I will be back on Friday, and then I'm spending the weekend. I'm very excited. I'm spending the weekend in the Wisconsin Dells. I'm going to go water parking, so I need a Wisconsin Max when I get back.
Look at you.
All right. Well, don't get in any fights there, because I've seen some good videos on World Star.
Oh yeah, last year in the Starbucks. I forgot about that. It was a source off. Well, I'm gonna glom and I'm gonna kiss ass and I'm going to. I'm
resorting it. You're gonna resort it. Are you doing a swim up bar and all that?
Are you gonna get one of the tiki huts there, so you have your own private spot?
Yeah, you gonna
maybe get a little massage, maybe a little drink and a coconut. I don't know. We'll see. After a long week of working hard here in Indianapolis, searching for free food and
is that this weekend or next weekend?
Yeah, that'll be this weekend, going to the Dells.
I can't make it this weekend. Show up and interrupt Grant's good times.
You weren't exactly invited, but I
don't need to be invited to show up.
That's true.
I suppose that's
true.
All right, Grant, we'll talk to you next Tuesday. Have a good time in the Dells, buddy.
All right, I see you guys.
Grant Bilse, host of the Wisco Sports Show, joining us each and every Tuesday at about 8:15.
I guess I maybe would have tried to choke it down.
That sounds like Grant.
I think he's going to have a coconut drink and a splash round. He's going to
be on a lazy
mammoths.
river. Lazy river.
I just want to know who the starting shortstop.
Mm-hmm. I didn't realize he was.
I didn't know he was. He didn't tell me last week either. Normally he alerts me to his travel plans. But Bad News Happy Music is coming up next.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. More from Brian and Gene is coming up.
You're about to enter a beautiful, exciting, wonderful new world.
A cockroach living in your nostril. Now that's just nasty. Add in some haven't pooped for 30 days.
Poop is raining from the ceilings. Poop.
And sprinkle in some #Florida Man for flavor.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man.
Florida Man quits his Burger King job, steals all of their chicken nuggets.
It's bad news.
Bad news.
With happy music.
Let's rock.
Oh, you know how I feel about AI and robots. Don't trust it, man. It's going to be our downfall. It's happening quicker than we thought, too, as people dive headfirst into this whole AI disaster that we're headed for.
What's happening? What are you talking about?
Well, I've got several stories here. We're going to start with a woman in L.A. who is very upset because a food delivery robot went rogue and messed up her garden.
Cocos have been relentless. I heard a commotion. I came out here. I found the cocoa in my garden. It had got my fence caught up in its wheel. It uprooted a whole bunch of plants in my garden and then just drove away with the fence attached to it. I chased after it and I looked like a total crazy person, running after a robot in the middle of the street, yelling after it. I was trying to block it, get in its way, and it was trying to go around me. These private companies can come in and dump their technology in our communities, and there's no sense of accountability.
Preach. I want her in front of the church. That's what I want. I want her up there.
Robot dug up her garden?
Yeah, so they've got these Coco food delivery robots in L.A. Her name is Kaya Real, by the way.
They have them I saw a bunch of them in Miami this summer.
Well, talking
Big
about
cities.
how it apparently got caught up in her fence and then ripped up a bunch of her garden. It uprooted a whole bunch of plates in my garden, then just drove away. She said she tried to chase after it. Now, look, getting caught on a fence and ripping up some of your garden and whatever is not the biggest problem here, but this is not the only issue with these robots. Apparently, the time recently when an automatic robot came to an abrupt stop in front of a man using a mobility scooter,
and wasn't moving,
which injured the guy. We've seen the Waymos as well, the one that stopped on the train tracks, and the guy that was in the back of the Waymo had to get out before he got run over by a train. We've seen them drive through active police scenes where they've got guys on the ground and their guns drawn. So these food delivery and Waymo cars are all driving around with no brains in them.
So this wasn't even her food.
No.
She wasn't getting food delivered. No. It was someone else was getting food, and it just stopped by and dug up her garden. Is that right?
Meanwhile, in other AI-related news, 31% of people in a recent survey say that their workload has increased since AI was introduced at their company, while some saying they're now expected to do 2 to 4 times as much work as before. About 1 in 5 workers, 22%, say it would be difficult or impossible to keep up with their current workload without AI. Another 32% said it would be somewhat challenging. So, yeah, they like to tell you that it's getting easier and that the AI is going to do all this crap and all this other things, but no, it's really not. It's really not. Meanwhile, a woman in South Korea was using the AI platform ChatGPT to plan the murder of 2 men.
We've heard of people doing this before, right? Like Googling, what can I do with chloroform and a shovel and some garbage bags?
Her surname is Kim. She's 21 years old. No first name for her, but she's accused of killing 2 men in separate incidents using the very same method, mixing drugs and alcohol. She was arrested in early February, initially charged with the lesser offense of inflicting bodily injury resulting in death. However, the charge was later upgraded to murder after her phone history revealed she was aware of the potential consequences.
Well, yeah, she was searching out the information is what she was doing.
The police said an analysis of her phone showed that she had repeatedly asked ChatGPT what happens if you take sleeping pills with alcohol. She also wrote, how many do you need to take for it to be dangerous, and could it kill someone?
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
Yeah.
Well, and that doesn't need to be ChatGPT. Like I said, people have been Googling.
No, but it's helping. It's helping. She wanted to kill people, and it said, yeah, sure, right away. Let's see how we can kill those humans. It didn't say, let me call the police first and report you. It didn't say, hey, maybe you shouldn't kill these people. It just said, sure, let's kill these guys.
You've seen people.
No safeguards in place whatsoever.
Oh, their history on their Google searches was crazy.
Clear my search history. Kim repeatedly asked questions related to drugs on ChatGPT. She was fully aware that consuming alcohol together with drugs could result in death.
And then it did twice. It can't be. She doesn't have that bad luck, right?
But twice, yeah. This isn't a oops. A New York City University professor is now in big trouble, mister, after she was caught saying some pretty racist stuff with a hot mic. She was on some kind of Zoom, and you can see the reactions of the other people when they realize what she's saying. It didn't go so well for her.
He delivers lessons and helps us fit those skills into our lessons.
Schools that they're too dumb to know they're in a bad school. I mean, apparently Martin Luther King said it. Like, if you train a black person well enough, they'll know to use the back. You don't have to tell them anymore. They're just
Allison Friedman, what you're saying is absolutely hearable here. You got to stop.
Yeah, kind of hard to make out there, but obviously if you want to read more about it, you can hear it.
They're too stupid to go here or something. I got that.
Her name is Allison Friedman. She's an associate professor at Hunter College in New York City, sparking controversy when she inadvertently interrupted a black 8th grade student's concerns about the potential shutdown of her school, saying they're too, this is her words, not mine, I'm just quoting, they're too dumb to know they're in a bad school.
Yeah. Right. I heard that part.
Mike was live. She said, if you train a black person well enough, they'll know to use the back. You don't have to tell them anymore. She seemed to be referring to a comment made by Reginald Higgins, the school's district's interim acting superintendent, talking about all sorts of other stuff. But you can see the reactions to the other teachers that are involved, covering their mouths and their eyes wide open.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and then the guy there obviously came in and said, hey, look, you got to stop talking. She apologized for her comments, tried to clarify her remarks. She said, my complete comments make clear those abhorrent views are not my own, nor were they directed at any student or group. I fully support yada, yada, yada. However, I recognize these comments can cause harm and pain, and while that was not my intent, I do truly apologize. Yeah. I'm assuming
I don't know what your intent was, or they're too stupid to know they're going to a bad school.
I'm assuming there's going to be
Sounds exactly like that.
Probably going to be some kind of investigation, and maybe she'll be losing her job at some point. Elsewhere, this is the epitome of a 13-year-old boy in this country when I saw this video. And I know you've seen it. The throat slash kid. Have you seen him?
God.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Dude, every single image that I have in my head, every video that my brain plays for me
But it's
great. It's funny. I get it, right? And look, the kid suffered, all right? He got his throat slashed, a random act of violence against this kid, and he's just coping the way he copes. But, man, everyone is talking about this video. This poor bastard got his throat slashed by some lunatic while he was with his family.
Yes.
And then he's got to sit down with his mom, and his mom's freaked out, of course. And they seem like they're a pretty well-to-do family, so I'm guessing this kid hasn't suffered much in life. There's no real, arduous climb for him to get over a hill somewhere to go to school or to have things in his life. So he's probably
been
living on easy street. And then he starts kissing and grabbing his chin and looking at the camera and trying to make sexy eye. I don't know what this kid, he's 13.
Does this change the way you feel when you're walking on the street now? I mean, are you looking over your shoulder, not looking down at your phone so much, looking around?
I mean, I think, yeah, but I don't think it should have to be like that, It's kind of dumb.
Lori, Mom, I bet you are protective
we
Mama
don't
bear.
know. Yes, of course. I mean, he was only 11 feet away from me when this happened, maybe 12 feet. It's absolutely horrifying.
The poor mom. She's sitting there. She's obviously been traumatized by this incident. She's there with her family, this kid, her son, 13 years old. His name is Sullivan Clark.
Every parent is
gets the throat slash. She's bleeding all over the place. What do? Call the cops. Oh, my God, everything, all the things that are happening, right?
Yes.
And then sits down, and after you've tried to, internalize the trauma and you realize my son's going to be okay, you sit down to have this very serious, conversation with a Fox News anchor, and the next thing you know, your kid's over there making sexy eyes and kissy faces at the camera.
I think any parent who has gotten through raising a teen was, they felt they were, the mother captured their heart, and then and people laughed at the kid.
And making funny faces at her when she's talking about him having nightmares, and he's like, bitch, what you talking about?
Well, and the attack was serious. They came up from behind him and slit his throat.
Yes, he has a huge gash with all the stitches. Yes. Yeah, if you haven't seen obviously the violence and all that stuff is not the funny part, but the video of the kid,
them getting interviewed,
talking, and then reacting to his mom, it's like,
bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
Yeah, it's that kid. It is the epitome of every teenage boy that I've ever thought or seen in my entire life. Just blasé about everything. Whatever, man. I don't care. And last but not least, you knew this one was coming.
Did I?
We've done this show for 20 years almost. We've been doing Bad News, Happy Music since the start. We've had a lot of really crazy stories. People that get fused to couches and toilet seats, and people that eat their dead husband's ashes, and people that eat dirty diapers, and people that drink their own urine. I mean, we've had some. But I can't remember in the history of Bad News with Happy Music ever having a story on a website that says, before you get to the content, right after the title, we want to warn you, the details of this story are disturbing, in boldface. Now, that may not be on every single news
I've seen
website.
it before you watch videos a lot, right? You'll find the content
disturbing
of this
content,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Not on a written thing. I mean, this is in Kentucky. And a man is now charged with sex crimes against animals. And we've had sex crimes against animals.
Yes, we have.
Banging horses.
We have.
The Central City Police in Muhlenberg County, Kentucky, say that a driver called 911 to report they saw a man having sex with a dead deer on the side of the road.
I was just going to say.
Roadkill. They say it happened on Philip Stone Way early on Saturday last weekend. Officers responded, say that they found a man named Alan Osborne still in the area and still with his pants down. They say blood and deer hair were on his clothes. When they got him to jail, the blood and deer hair were also on his genitals and privates.
Of course they were, because that's
banging
what he was doing.
a dead deer.
Yeah.
Police said sexual crimes against animals is a D felony and carries a penalty of 1 to 5 years in prison. And this dude looks like the kind of guy that's banging dead deers on the side of the road.
Taking him back to Nevada, where he's wanted for banging horses.
Nope, not that. Can you imagine driving down the road and then you're seeing all of a sudden, honey, pick up the phone and call the police. Did you see what I saw? I mean,
well, look, and I
did you see? I
gotta ask the question. If you're gonna bang the dead deer, aren't you taking it somewhere where people can't see you? Like into the woods, further off to the side of the road, not right there on the side of the... I mean, like we see dead deer all the time.
Yes, of course.
They're right there on the side of the road. They're in the breakdown lane.
Yes.
If you know you're going to do that, aren't you taking it somewhere private so you don't get seen?
I don't know. This guy's thinking all that through. He sounds like he's got troubles.
32-year-old in Kentucky facing charges for having sex with roadkill.
A lot of beating and banging.
Oof. A lot of something. I think 5 years is not enough. I think maybe forever. I think this is, look, this is, we have this, I've said this before. We have to have this unwritten agreement with reality, right? And this guy's not living in reality. Can't be doing this stuff. Can't have these people on the planet. Can't do it. Got to get rid of them. Right?
Yeah. Well, and then you're like, so that was his first venture into that?
I'm guessing not.
Right. Like,
I'm
first time
not.
ever. First time ever. Side of the road.
There may have been.
First time ever.
I guess if you're looking for a silver lining, it was a dead animal.
Yes. Well, when you started telling the story, I'm like, ugh. But yes.
Oh.
But like I said, not first time, though, probably. Probably not.
And to reiterate, that is another reminder that if you're going through some stuff in life, like everybody is, I'm not saying I'm not saying you don't have problems. I'm not saying you shouldn't fix your issues or work on them. I'm just saying
that's not you.
It could be a lot worse. You could be the guy on the side of the road banging a dead deer. You could be that guy.
Rock Mornings with Brian and Gene. Find them online at rockmornings.com. Call.
Hello.
Email.
I tried emailing you.
Text. So many ways to check in with us. Check. We rely on you guys for traffic updates, requests, and all sorts of other stuff.
Check this out.
Visit the website rockmornings.com for all of our contact info. Listen to the show live on the website. Check out the daily podcast. Also, remember to download the apps, the 92.9 The X app and the 95.7 The Rock app, and you can submit voicemails, pictures, and videos through the app. We got one from Mel. Oops. Let me see here. We got one from Mel.
And it was the most painful thing ever.
Oh, man.
It hurt like holy hell.
Mel.
Last year, this time, and it was the most painful thing ever. Working through that is not recommended.
Shingles, apparently. Mel saying that she had shingles last year.
When you were telling that story, I was
Tyrese
like,
Halliburton.
No,
apparently.
thank you. I have heard it's very painful.
Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. Got a text from Chris in Chicago. Said, Hammond and Gary, the armpits of the Midwest, 5 minutes from my house in Chicago. He said, my brother moved out of Chi-Town, bought a house in Hammond. Dumbest thing he ever did. I said, I bet it was cheap as hell, though.
The
property
house?
value there is probably pretty low.
Taxes.
Bobby texted in, said, what the hell? There is a Patriot sign at Miller's Scrapyard. It looks like there's like a Dodgers sign there. It looks like there's a Pistons. What am I looking at? Kentucky. There's a Miami over here. So this there's a Cubs. It looks like a bunch of trash barrels, like metal trash barrels, maybe from like a manufacturing company that makes these things. Like I know Fanatics is in the area, and they make a lot of stuff for sports teams, right?
Yes, they sure do.
So maybe that's...
They make stuff, and then it got thrown away. They didn't need it.
Todd texted in, said, I'm in my late 50s. I've been a Viking fan my entire life. I would take Packers backup quarterbacks over J.J. McCarthy any day of the week. I wouldn't go after that guy, in my opinion. I think he's better than Jordan Love. Malik Willis, maybe on the move to Minnesota. I doubt that. Somebody texted in and wanted to know if Grant Bilse was on Z93.
Yes.
He has been on Z93 for a long time.
Yep, he sure is.
Chuck texted in earlier. We were talking about Vogue, the magazine, the fashion people, naming 2026 as the year of the crack. And Chuck said, as a guy and an ass man, hey, ass man, that sounds like a trend I can get behind. My question is, does a guy's ass crack have the same effect for women?
No.
Momoa?
Well, that would be more of a, I mean, it would be like a bodybuilding kind of thing, not just walking around with your pants low.
It's not even your pants low, it's your
like
butt cracks hanging out.
Or a little peekaboo mesh thing with a, I don't know, I think I'm okay.
It depends on who the butt's attached to. And then it's not about the butt, it's about the guy, right? It's about the body, the whole body of work. Corbin, we were talking about something that seems impressive until you do it, then it feels kind of mundane. Corbin said cooking pizza in a 500-degree wood-fire pizza stove and doing it better than the pizza god himself. Tommy Babs has been called out. The gauntlet has been laid down.
How many did he do, though? You know what I mean? Like, he cooked 1, 2, 3, 4 pizzas, fine. How about 1,000 in a Saturday?
Also, we got a text from Jacob earlier this morning. Said, I thought Canadians were non-violent. That was a premeditated murder of a television.
Yeah, somebody took a chainsaw. It was Jesse James up there in Canada.
Papow. Angry Canadian hockey fan upset at the loss. Did you see that one guy got the teddy bear and looked at it and he's like, this thing.
That whole thing was a little bit...
It was great. It was great. You got to stand out there for 45 minutes while they present all the medals, and you just got to stew in it. Meanwhile, the U.S. is just waiting to get in that locker room and crack beers and party with the FBI director. And anybody that's mad about the FBI director, just go screw. Get out of here, you bum. Can you imagine that? Like, caring about what the FBI did? And so what? He's the FBI director. If he can have a day off, he can party with the guys in the locker room. Who cares?
The little teddy bears were nice, but weird. I thought during all the medals there. Medals when there's like a whole team of people, like the hockey, because it's like one after another. It's like, okay, I don't care about this. We have the silver medal. I want to go home.
I get on my plane and go home. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.